to welcome each one of you all to our MAIC 2022's Open Day. Well, without making any delay, let's move to the section. Technology. Technology plays the most important part in our life, especially in this era. And business is very much important for a person, especially when you are a student. And it will be very much easier with technology and experience. So I would like to welcome our technology developer and advisor, Mr. Homan Halgoni, to the stage. Let's put your hands together. Let's have a small intro about him. Homan Halgoni is a technologypreneur, startup founder, and a senior IT professional with over 12 years of experience in developing and launching many technology products, applications, and startups. He was awarded High-Tech 2009 Gold Award for Best Innovation and High-Tech 2009 Special Award for Corporate Innovation, also MTT Com Startup Challenge finalist. Chosen as one of the most under-inspiring LinkedIn accounts in Malaysia and featured as Mia Centralizing Professionals on LinkedIn Malaysia in 2020. Hello, sir.
Hello, thank you very much for inviting me here today.
Pleasure is ours, sir.
Okay, so we start.
Yeah, we can start up, sir.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming today. Maybe at the slide. I will stand up if you don't. So, good afternoon and hello everyone. My name is Umar. I'm from Wonderland Technologies. And today I'm going to talk to you about leading your business through technology and experimenting. I will try to keep this slide and I will also share with you some lessons I learned that maybe can help you as a student. So a little bit first about myself. So I'm originally from Syria. Syria is a small country in the Middle East at the eastern side of the Mediterranean Sea. Maybe you have heard about Syria from the news and the sad stories. But actually Syria is a country maybe not rich with resources and money, but it's actually a country that is rich in culture and history. In fact, actually it has 7 of the World Heritage Sites they are in Syria. So I came to Malaysia in the year 2005, so almost more than 15 years I've been living here, and I actually call Malaysia home. My education, so my background is computer science. I have a degree from Staffordshire University, and currently I'm studying Master in Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Maybe for that, I will share with you a little bit what lesson I learned from my educational experience. So I will say the most important things in your university time. These years are your best, the best years in your life. So make sure you have fun, you enjoy your time, but also make sure that you learn and you gain the skills that you later need in life. And also make sure you form meaningful connections, because those people who are your classmates today, most likely if you stay in contact with them, and if they are people that they are smart and they are helpful, they are going to help you later on in your life and in your career. After my graduation from university, I actually jumped immediately to entrepreneurship. So me and my classmate, we started our first company. So that company was called Smart Services in Berhad. And at that time when we tried to do this, we tried this. So what we try to do is we try to make any service as an interactive service. So after that, I did start a few more companies and a few more projects. But I will, maybe my last company was Wonderland Technologies, so this one I started in 2016, and in that company I was a solopreneur. I didn't have a co-founder, I didn't have a partner, I just did everything by myself. And I started in 2016 and it went until COVID. So what we try to do is we try to bring all those technology fantasies we see in movies to our everyday life. So most of my clients were in museums, events, galleries and retail. Maybe my lesson from all of those startups that I started and my entrepreneurship journey to you, if you think about starting your own company or business one day, is I will say entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It's very hard. Sometimes media show us it's very glamorous and people getting rich very easily, but it's really very different from that. It's very hard, but at the same time it's very rewarding. So you will learn a lot of valuable lessons from trying to start a business or trying to start a company. Those lessons you will never learn from any book or any class or any job, because you will be hands-on working on that. And at the same time, you will be working not 8 hours a day, you will be maybe working 12 hours or 16 hours a day, and you will be working 7 days a week there. And you will actually, like when you are an employee, you look forward to the weekend. But when you are an entrepreneur, actually you look forward for Monday, because Monday is the time where you are working on your dream and you are waiting for that payment. So the weekend usually is the thing that delay your success. So I would say if you think about starting entrepreneurship, it's a journey worth it to be done. It's not going to be easy, and most likely majority of entrepreneurs and majority of startups are going to fail. There's a small portion of them going to success, but if you ever think about it, yes, try. Even if you fail, it's okay, because you will learn a lot from it. I also work for a few companies, so in between my ventures and as well after Wonderland Technologies, I used my skills and I managed to get a few jobs and be also advisor for some companies. So in my latest job in UICCPT, which is a Singaporean startup where we are working on giving credit score for the unbanked and the underbanked people of Southeast Asia. So using the data on your mobile phone, we can give the user a credit score even if they don't have a bank account or even if they don't have a credit card. And the lesson I will give you from my corporate or from the jobs I had is always choose a good boss. It doesn't matter if the company you work in is small or big. If you have a good boss, he will teach you a lot of lessons and he will make sure that not only you are appreciated, but they will also make sure you grow in that journey. And at the same time, the job marketplace and the corporate world is changing now very differently. So maybe our parents' time, people used to work for the same company for 20 years, 30 years, that was the norm. But now things changing so fast and you have to be prepared that you might be switching job very often. So also you need how I would say, don't switch also jobs too often or like every year just because you had a better pay, because that sometimes can backfire you. And on your next interview, you will be asked why are you changing job, why you keep changing job, and you will have difficult time answering that. So don't only look because you got an opportunity with better pay, you just jump and take it. Better to stay in a company for at least 2 to 3 years, learn from them, learn how things are being done, gain experience, form connections as well with your colleagues. And then if you get an opportunity after 3 to 4 years, I think I would say it is definitely worth it. At the same time, when you are working in a company, if you feel you becoming or now as the smartest person in the room or the most experienced person, and you feel you are hitting the ceiling and not learning something new, maybe also that's the time you can think about switching job and go to something more challenging, so you can be challenged and you can learn new skills. I got a few awards for my work. So I got the ITEX 2009 Golden Award and Best Invention as well for at that time my interactive table, which I done with my co-founder. Also, I was the finalist in the NTT Startup Challenge, and I'm a bit from, I would say, famous on LinkedIn. So I have 28,000 followers, and I share a lot of content on that platform. Also, I want to go a little bit back, sorry for that, for the entrepreneurship. Another lesson I would say you can learn there, also don't simply partner with anyone. If you are thinking to work almost on any project and you need to choose a partner, make sure your skills complement each other. So one of my mistakes I've done earlier is me and my partner, we were both technical people. So we both had the same skills. We were repeating each other's skills. So we lacked somebody, for example, with business skills. I would say something more wise that I should have done, but at that time I was naive, I just fresh graduate, is to find somebody maybe from business background and I'm from technical background. Together we could work and success. And that's actually why some of my ventures I didn't succeed. So that's maybe one of them. So let's say enough about me. Let's now jump to the topic. So let's talk about digital disruption. We now hear these terms a lot, and we can start to sense it. So what is digital disruption and how it's affecting our life? So if you look at the businesses here in these pictures, you will notice that some of them are already dead, and you will notice some of them are having major challenges now, and some of them are going to face real serious challenge in the next 10 years. So that's all happening because technology is changing the way we do business, changing the infrastructure, changing the supply chain, changing the customer behavior. And we already see, for example, e-hailing has affected taxi businesses. We already see that cities and people at residential areas facing, for example, challenges or issues from service like Airbnb. Even I think, in fact, recently I heard Penang already banned Airbnb or going to ban Airbnb. So technology disruption sometimes bring new opportunities, which is good. Sometimes it also face us with new challenges. So it's not only about business. Sometimes it's also ethical, and sometimes it's legal. So now, for example, something like self-driving cars. This is an old issue which is called the trolley problem. So if we look at this, let's say it's self-driving car now, it's a real issue. If a self-driving car approach this issue where, let's say, their brakes fail, what should it do? Should it hit the old woman? Should it hit the young kid? Or should it maybe hit a tree and kill the passenger? So this is a serious ethical issues we now need to think about. Like the legal people now need to think about, the ethical leaders need to think about. Engineers are not the best people to solve something like this or decide what is the right thing to do. So this is a new challenge that digital disruption is going to bring us. Also about jobs. So a lot of people scared that robotics and automation and technology is going to steal their jobs. In fact, in the next 15 years, 50% of the jobs exist today are going to be gone. They are going to be replaced by automation, by robotics, by artificial intelligence, and so on. But why all the fuss? Why we all now feeling the digital disruption happening, let's say, in the last 10 years? Even, let's say, technologies like artificial intelligence or robotics, it's not new. Actually, artificial intelligence started in 1959, and that's really long time ago. But we only started to feel it in the last 10 years. So, what artificial intelligence was in what we call winter time. It was hibernating because it lacked the infrastructure for it to flourish and to grow. So the artificial intelligence, which is mainly now what we call machine learning, it depends on data. And now we needed a lot of data for machine learning to work. And we needed also the systems or the technologies which would manage that huge amount of data. And then we need processing power. So we needed strong CPUs and GPUs to process all that huge amount of data. And also we needed the connectivity infrastructure. So we needed Wi-Fi, we needed 3G, 4G, 5G. So all these devices can be connected all time and anytime. So now, thanks to social media, smart devices, sensors, we are collecting a lot of data and huge amount of data. And thanks to the connectivity of Wi-Fi, 4G, 5G, all these devices are now connected all the time. And it's not like the old days where you need to plug a device to the wall in order for you to have internet. And thanks to computer games, actually, they advances the processors, the speed and technology. So now we can process a lot of data in short time. So all of those actually led for the recent huge development in digital in artificial intelligence and led to digital disruption. So what that lead us, what we should do now with all those challenges we are facing. How we should look at digital disruption. Is it a gift or is it a threat? I think the way we look at digital disruption is going to define what will happen to us as an individual or as business. So if we take an example, Kodak. So Kodak used to be a leader in photography and imagery. They were like almost the number one company in that field. But when digital photography came, they struggled to accept that change in the market. They struggled to accept that the consumer or people were more happy with something easy to use like a digital camera or a phone. They kept arguing that a photo taken by film has a better quality. And because of their failure to accept that challenge and their failure to pivot, that's why they got bankrupt in the year 2014. Also, we can notice that the automobile industry, for example, the car today is not very different from a car manufactured 20 or 30 years ago, except maybe from some styling or speed or petrol efficiency. But almost they are still the same and running on the same technology. But now we start to see that new companies like Tesla and Waymo and others, they're not only bringing, for example, cars that are run on charged batteries, but they're also bringing something like autonomous vehicles. So they're changing the whole experience of driving a car. Now with autonomous vehicle, you don't need even a driving license to be on the car. You can just hop in, and they're bringing new ways to use a car with ride sharing. And we also need to be very careful of what they call a digital lipstick syndrome. I don't know if you heard about this term, but if you want me to explain to you in a simple way, is let's say when a company thinks they adopted digital transformation by simply using a product like Google Cloud or like Google Documents or something like that. So if, for example, a newspaper think if I just put my content online, I've done digital transformation, they are way wrong. That's what we call digital lipstick syndrome. So for digital transformation to be real, it has to be first thing comprehensive. So it has to be every element of the business model. It has to touch on things about what you make, how you make it, what you sell, where you sell it, your relationship between you and your customers, your relationship between you and your partners, how you handle payments, and also how you manage your company internally. And for you to do digital transformation, you have to do it at very high speed. You cannot take your time and think I can maintain my legacy system and I can jump into the digital transformation at the same time or at later time. So how you can handle this digital transformation? For me, the best way is to use experimenting, is to keep experimenting and trying new things. And yes, we can use data, and yes, data can sometimes help us make better decisions and help us be more efficient, but data alone is not enough for us to innovate and to make something new. So when we experiment, we need to try new things, we need to try new tools and do things we are afraid to do. And we don't need only to try the things that we think is going to work, but we also need to try the things that we think is not going to work. And while we're doing that, we might fail, but we have to build a culture that it's okay to fail. It's okay for you sometimes not to get it right. And we should look at failure differently, not as a roadblock, but we should look at failure as a stepping stone and learning experience toward success. So this is one experiment I have done in my time at Wonderland Technologies, where we and our client wanted to build a digital receptionist. So we wanted to build a hologram receptionist where people can go to it, approach it, ask it a question, and it will answer you back by voice. So, but how did we do that? So, in order for us to do that, we have to experiment and try different technologies. So, we have to work on things like chatbots, voice recognition, and use Unity gaming engine to do the 3D, to do the animation in real time for the 3D model. So, the way we did it is the user will speak and the mic will collect the voice, and then we turn that voice to text and we feed it to the chatbot, and the chatbot will answer back the question in text format. Then our application will turn that text to voice, and then we will animate the character with the 3D engine, and at the same time if there is any multimedia content like a video or a map to be shown as well, we show it and that information goes to the user. And also in 2021, I took a challenge. I call it the 2021 SaaS challenge. SaaS stands for Software as a Service. So my challenge was to build 10 SaaS services in 1 year. So it was a big challenge, but I learned a lot of lessons, and I learned a lot, not only in the technology side, but also on the business side, the marketing side, the digital marketing side. So a challenge like this, an experiment like this, of course not all of them successful. So out of the 10, maybe only 4 success. But those 4 brought to me a side income, which is like helped me support myself during the COVID time. So how can you build such experiment in short time? So let's say the traditional way to build something that take you from point A to point B. So if you need something to take you, let's say from here to let's say Malawi, for example, maybe you think I need to build a car. So what people will usually do, they would say the wheels. It's just an example. Okay, we will not do this. Nobody did this in real life. But people will just buy the wheels or build the wheels, then build the body, then build the engine, and then put everything together. So at step 4, you have a car which will take you from point A to point B. But the experimenting way of building an MVP, which is minimum viable product. So you look at the most essential features or the most core features and you start something. You just build that. So in here, maybe you build a scooter. So that scooter will start helping you go from point A to point B. I know it's not perfect, but then you can gather the feedback. You can see what the user think about it. And maybe they give you feedback that it's difficult to change direction. So maybe you change it to a scooter, build on that feedback, and you improve it, and now it's a scooter. So it's easier now to change direction. But then you get feedback that's maybe not very fast, it's not very stable. So you took that feedback and you build on it, and then now it's a bicycle. So after that, you're still getting more feedback, so it becomes a motorbike until it becomes a car. But the difference between the first step, the first way and the second way is here from step one you have something moving, while there you have to wait until step four. So that's the power of MVP. And also big companies experiment, not only startups, not only startups. So company like Google, all these products you see on the screen, all are failed products. All those products they scrap. So maybe you remember the smart glasses, maybe you heard of their modular phone where even it's a brilliant idea, but it failed. So this phone is, it's a modular, so you can take each part, and if you want to upgrade your phone, let's say you want better camera, just remove the camera part. If you want more memory, you just replace the memory part. So it's like building blocks. But this idea also failed. Also maybe Google Wave, Google Talk, all of that, but they took all of that learning experience and failures and use them to improve their current products. Also, even governments can experiment and innovate. So I'll give you one example here in China. Maybe they are not the most open government and most flexible government. They kind of preaching. But what they do, they experiment. They did something, they call it special economic zone. So they give, for example, Shenzhen more freedom and more autonomy. So for them to do things differently. And that led the major success of Shenzhen. So you can see the difference in the two pictures. So this is what I have for you today. And I just want to say, stay like this basically. Keep experimenting, keep trying new things. Don't be afraid to fail. Just take challenges, have fun along the way, and I'm sure you will have a bright future. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the floor? Do you have any questions or any doubts to clear out? Your may shoot it now.
Don't be shy. Just ask anything, even not about technology, about maybe what you think about when you want to.
Any guidance?
Any guidance.
Anything? I think everyone is clear, sir.
All right. No questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Regarding the startup course Okay, hello. I'm wondering to involve in this kind of technology. How much is the startup cost for different technology area if you want to start in this kind of tech entrepreneurship?
Well, it depends on the product and what you want to do. So, but the best way is not to really go ahead and invest a huge amount of money. So, what you do first, you research. You research, you see if there is a market for the product, you ask people opinion, don't be afraid, like, oh, people are going to steal my idea. No, everybody has so many ideas and ideas are so cheap. But actually, expensive is the execution. So, ask as many people as possible and make sure you also ask them the right question. And also be you need to also accept if they criticize your idea, or if they tell you, like, okay, you don't have to be delusional. If they tell you it's not going to work, you don't just immediately give up. You need to ask why, and what can I do differently so this thing will not work. Only when you get this kind of answer, you start to pivot from your initial assumption, then you start to pivot to the right direction. And then what you do, even you get validation for your idea, don't immediately jump. Then what you do is you can try to do something like a proof of concept. So if it's an app, for example, you just do some simple drawing and start approaching investors, start approaching people you think maybe they're going to invest. And then from there you can, after it gets more validation, more traction, like people seem interested, maybe you can put a newsletter, people subscribe to, you can just create a landing page, and people, they put their email if they think that. So you start building that traction. When you have, let's say, a bigger email list, then you can be more confident on going ahead with the next step. But I would say, even with small capital, you should be able, at least in the beginning, to validate your idea and to start with it. But of course, let's say you want to do something like, involve medical, or you need medical lab, these kind of things are more expensive. So that thing you cannot do. You need maybe to find a university, you need to find a company that maybe will sponsor your idea.
One more question. Is that possible for hospitality industry like hotel or chains moving 100% in technology without any kind of human intervention?
Well, 100% I would say that's very challenging, but here there are a lot of variables. So it also depends on not only about the technology, sometimes depends about the whole environment, the whole ecosystem, whole country, salaries, things like that. You will always find innovation and automation. They're more successful in countries where actually salaries are high, and technology will not pick up so fast in countries where salaries is low, because usually the main cost for any business is labor cost. So only when they feel it's worth it, like if for example, the salaries in hospitality industry, let's say in the range of 1,500 ringgit to 2,000 ringgit, maybe they don't need to use robots. The robots will not make the business sensitive. They are more expensive compared to human labor. But if let's say you go to countries like Australia or Singapore, where there's so many regulations and the salaries are high, here maybe robots are cheaper than human labor. At the same time, now with COVID, even that start to question this view, because now with COVID, we start to have to think about the health issues, about transmitting diseases and things like that. So the current environment, yes, it's pushing to be maybe one day 100% rely on automation, but it will be a different speed between countries.
Thank you for the question. Any others? Do you all have any other questions to ask? Anything? Okay, let's give a big round of applause to our technology developer and advisor, Mr. Herman Malkaroni. Thank you, sir. Your guidance, information means a lot to us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And dear students, thank you for your patience. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.